I know it's happened to me. Have you driven by a building, a park, a street, and thought, I wonder where that name came from? There are several San Antonio names you see over and over across the city.
So it got us asking, who are these people? What did they do that was so significant? Here's KSAT Explains San Antonio namesakes. Tobin, Modla, McAllister, Wurzbach. Who were they? To help us answer that, let's tell you who this is. Tell me your name.
David Green.
And what's the title of your book?
Place Names of San Antonio and Surrounding Counties.
He's an orthopedic surgeon by trade and a lover of trivia and history by trait.
I was on the faculty of the medical school for 8 years, and my office was on Floyd Curl Drive. And for 8 years, I asked people who was Floyd Curl, and nobody could tell me.
That curiosity launched years of research for his book. Floyd Curl Drive is one of the main roads running through the medical center on San Antonio's northwest side. So who was Mr. Curl, or rather, Reverend Curl?
Turns out he was a Methodist minister. He chaired the first meeting when some businessmen and medical people got together and said, let's build a medical center. And the first building out there was Methodist Hospital, and so they named the only street in the whole medical center for Floyd Curl.
San Antonio has no shortage of streets bearing someone's name, but there are two that tend to raise a lot of questions, and not just about their namesakes.
People always wonder why we have two Wurzbach roads. Well, it's a great story.
William Wurzbach and Harry Wurzbach were brothers. William, the oldest, he was a Texas congressman from 1895 to 1897.
In 1904, William Wurzbach and his father-in-law, Gustav Smeltzer, bought 1,400 acres of what is now the medical center.
The dirt road that once led to Wurzbach's home became Wurzbach Road. And yes, Wurzbach Parkway. From Ingram Road to Lock Hill Selma, it's Wurzbach Road. Then from Lock Hill Selma to O'Connor Road near I-35, it's Wurzbach Parkway, both named for William.
So, where does Harry Wurzbach come from?
He becomes the first Republican elected to Congress from Texas since Reconstruction.
He had served in the Spanish-American War and was very involved in veterans organizations, so he's much beloved for that reason.
Of issues like civil rights, he voted for an anti-lynching bill, for instance, which was an act of great courage on his part, certainly.
People wanted to do something for Harry, so they went down to city council and lobbied to get a road named for Harry.
People were upset because there was already a Wurzbach Parkway, and they thought they'd be confused.
They lost, and it is confusing.
A giant building downtown bears the name of a giant San Antonio legend.
Henry B.
Henry B.
The Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center.
Henry B. Gonzalez is one of the most significant San Antonians, I would argue.
He was in Congress for more than 30 years, but he started out in San Antonio City Council.
Then Gonzalez became the first Mexican-American elected to the Texas Senate in 1956, and the first Mexican-American from Texas elected to U.S. Congress in 1961.
Incredible dedication to attacking and speaking out against segregation of Mexican Americans in the 1950s.
He was seen as a person who cared about people no matter their station.
His real claim to fame was when they had the big banking savings and loan scandal.
He upset a lot of people, but the people who didn't like him said at least he's trying to get to the bottom of the crisis and make things better for everyday San Antonians.
Another name you see over and over, McAllister. Walter McAllister was mayor of San Antonio from 1961 to 1971. He was instrumental in helping expand San Antonio College.
There's Mayor McAllister with the president of the Conservation Society, Mrs. Brooks Martin, or Pinky Martin as she was known, and of course the famous Congressman Henry B. Gonzalez. They're all smiling here, which is a little unusual because actually the Conservation Society fought Mayor McAllister for most of his tenure in office because they were against the highway that was going to be built through Brackenridge Park.
But he had the vision that we needed a road from downtown to the airport, which is 281, and it bears his name.
Eventually it was built. Because of the Conservation Society's opposition, the city was unable to use federal funds, so it did it with state and local funds.
Sometimes it's called McAllister Freeway to honor him, and sometimes, at least initially, it was called McAllister Freeway because some folks resented that that road plowed through their front yards and their backyards, and so they said he should get credit or discredit.
Now from one name to many, the Tobin family.
The Tobin family they were huge philanthropists in San Antonio.
John W. Tobin, who was mayor during one of the great periods in San Antonio history, the time the Conservation Society was founded in the 1920s, was a great period of growth for the city.
When they built Almost Dam, when they had a big flood downtown, and he was instrumental in doing that.
Mayor Tobin's nephew was Edgar Tobin. His story is on display at the Whitty Museum.
Edgar Tobin, and he was a World War I ace pilot, came back and started an aerial photography company.
But they were really not a wealthy family. And Edgar Tobin's the one that created this aerial surveys and created a mapping company that all the oil and gas companies of the day needed to have these Tobin maps. So that's where the family fortune really came from.
Edgar's wife, Margaret, had a love for art, theater, and symphony.
And she started the San Antonio Symphony in 1939.
She passed on that passion to their son, Robert L.B. Tobin, who the Tobin Center is named after.
Robert was a born collector. He probably has the biggest collection of theater arts in the entire world, and that's now known as the Tobin Collection of Theater Arts, which is housed at the McNay Art Museum today.
So when you think of something like the Tobin Center, you think of the arts because these are the people that help create some of our foundational arts organizations.
Education is the legacy of our next name, Frank Modla Jr.
We're standing right now in the Senator Frank Modla building on campus.
The campus of Texas A&M San Antonio.
His major dream was to bring a public university to the south side of San Antonio. And he labored literally for years to do this, to get this support.
Modla served in the Texas House and Senate from 1972 to 2006. He helped bring the Toyota plant to San Antonio and redevelop the old Kelly Air Force Base. But he didn't live to see his dream for a Southside University become reality. He died in a house fire in 2006. A&M San Antonio became a standalone university in 2009.
We view him as an iconic figure on our campus, and our campus colors are silver and black and what we call Modla Maroon. He was just really a constant voice for the people of this area.
And those are just a few San Antonio namesakes in a city full of so many stories to tell.
A lot of people don't want to read a history book or hear about a historical event, but if it's in a place or a place name, the park is named, the street is named, the building is named, then it's part of your regular everyday life. It's not this separate category of history, it's just part of life. And it connects you to people who were there before.
Anything we missed?
Oh yeah, we missed about 990 of these things.
The name of one of our interviewees might have sounded familiar, Dolph Briscoe IV. He's the grandson of the former Texas governor, Dolph Briscoe Jr. So see, no shortage of stories around here. Nope. To check out all of our KSAT Explains coverage, scan this QR code or find us on the KSAT YouTube page.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.